Hey, 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 how are you? Good evening. It's Nina Lemtier here, the nutrition lifestyle strategist. We are going live this evening on our third session on unveiling the unseen, silent struggles of orders. And this evening, we will be wanting to highlight um, adenomyosis. Yeah, I pronounced it right. Because that's a condition that what we're seeing from statistics is it's coming up after surgery. So welcome, Alero. Thanks for joining.
Good evening. What's happening on my phone? Don't know what's happening.
Ladies, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Hope you've had a super relaxing Sunday. Really excited for this evening's session. We're getting such good feedback, and we're on session 3, which is just great. So it's about empowering each other, raising awareness, talking about having those uncomfortable conversations, and really just wanting particularly the younger generation to be able to learn from our experiences. And Alero, she's just so amazing with how open she is, and how she's willing to share really private information, just in the hope that it can inspire and empower a woman that might be struggling with these conditions. So just for those of you that don't know, my name is Nina Lemtier, and I'm a nutrition lifestyle strategist. I found myself in this space because I had to basically help myself when I was diagnosed with fibroids. It's coming up to 11 years ago. And I was basically told that I'd be lucky if I'd be able to keep my uterus. It would be I'd be lucky if I could. So they were basically telling me that I was going to lose my uterus whilst having the fibroids removed. And I basically said, no, that can't happen because I really want kids. And it was such a traumatizing experience. I don't like needles. I can't even look when I'm being, injected, let alone an operation like, having a myomectomy. So once I got out of there, by the grace of God, with my uterus, I knew a lot had to change, and I needed to figure out why my fibroids had grown so big. Because one was nearly as big as a football. And everything changed from that point. So since then, I've gone on to have 3 children. The fibroids that were removed never grew back. The ones that were left behind, which I asked them to leave, so I told them not to take them all out. And this is, something you should remember. You can actually make these requests. You can make suggestions. You don't have to take everything at face value. So I said that they shouldn't take them all out because I wanted to cut the operating time so that I bled less. And luckily I did, because with the amount of blood I lost, it was very touch and go, you know. So yeah, I've had my 3 children. I've never felt better. A lot changed over the years. Some changes were incremental, some were very drastic, but with my second daughter, I was told that the fibroids that were left behind were much smaller. And actually, at the forefront of my mind, what I was thinking about was that I didn't want the ones that were removed to grow back. So that was my focus. My focus actually wasn't shrinkage. So yeah, I'm here today, and it's about, I know that things wouldn't be the way they are today if I hadn't been proactive, if I hadn't decided that a lot had to change. So this is information that is not being given, at the, when the diagnosis stage. You're not being made aware of what you can do for yourself day to day in regards to diet, nutrition, and lifestyle. And it's such a key factor in the growth rate, in the speed of growth. It's just such a key factor. So I've spoken enough. I'm going to let Alero tell you a bit more about who she is, and we're going to go into more of her experience.
Okay, thank you so much, Nina. Can you see me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Alero Mashola, aka Sisi Alero. Well, basically, the first time I ever heard about fibroids was in 2004. While I was in uni, I had really awful pains. It was so bad. I had to be rushed from school to the hospital, and after the scan done, I was told I had ovarian cysts. Never heard of it either before. I was in my 20s and my early 20s, and I was told I had to have a surgery because it was really bad. I could barely walk. And when I came to after the surgery, I was told I also had fibroids, and I was also taken out. I didn't have any say about the decision, taking it out or not. I didn't know anything about sizes. I didn't know the information we have today. I didn't have any of that. It was news to me. So, and I never even thought about, finding out what it was. All I was interested in was I'm no longer in pain. And I also had my appendix taken out at the same time, even though I didn't have any appendix. It was, the doctor said, since it was open myomectomy, because they call me open, it was better to just do everything so I don't need to be cut open again in the future, which was favorable for me. But after a few years, the pains came back again. All the horrible pains came back again, and I was in and out of hospital. And by 2000, this was 2004, and by 2008, I was told the fibers were back and I needed to have another surgery. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that again. And at this point, I started trying to read about it, know what it was like. And, I was still young, so it was so scary, and I wasn't getting any information. All I was being told was, oh, if you don't do it, you'll not be able to have children or this and that, nothing whatsoever. And then a few years down the line, I actually had to have another surgery to shrink the fibers and just stop the fibers from getting blood and all of that. So I started reading more about it, and then I was told about the scarring that it causes and all of that. But even after the surgery, I still wasn't feeling 100%. I still wasn't, my periods were still so heavy. I was going through a lot that I was always feeling really down because my quality of life was so bad. I can't make decisions like say, oh, I'm meeting up with someone and be 100% sure I'm going to go there because the bleeding can come at any time and I'm in so much pain. It just, I always end up canceling appointments and everything until I bumped into Nina on social media, and she was talking about, you know, changing your diet and all of that, what you take, supplements. And then I got in touch with her, reached out to her, and I followed what she said. And it did help. My fibroids stopped growing, and I was so happy about it. But sadly, there was something else wrong, which I didn't know about because all I'd known about was fibroids. And um, after going in and out of hospital again for years, the doctors agreed, yes, I needed to have another ultrasound done. And they found that I had something called adenomyosis. And adenomyosis is when the lining of the womb or the cell that grows as the lining of the womb begins to grow into the wall of the womb, the muscle wall of your uterus, the womb. And when it does that, you know, normally the lining of the womb is what, it takes up when it's preparing for you to conceive. But when
Yeah.
you don't, every month, when you don't conceive, it now sheds itself and comes out during your period. So now with adenomyosis, it's it thickens it and also enlarges your womb. So it enlarges the uterus. And then when it does that, because it's affecting the muscle wall of your womb, it's pushing in, so it's causing so much pain. It causes heavy bleeding. You get blood clots, really bad blood clots. Some people have, just like fibroids, some people have, they might not have any symptoms, no pain, nothing. But some
Yeah.
people, when it's bad, it's really bad. So I had it really bad. And um, from there, it went on to me having endometriosis, which endometriosis affects the outside of your womb. So it affected my fallopian tubes, my ovaries, my bowel. It can affect your bladder as well, you know.
Wow.
You can end up having a stomach bag. There's some people, it's damaged them so badly, they have a stomach bag where they have to pass out their feces, and some of them it affects the bladder. They have to have a stomach bag to have their urine go through that. So I was really scared when I was told it affected my bladder, my bowel. And speaking with the doctors, they started explaining about the things that could cause, well, they don't know what causes adenomyosis, but they have, what's the word I'll use now? There's suggestions of things that can trigger it, that can trigger adenomyosis, like risk factors. So some people can have it after childbirth, because when you have a child, it could cause the lining of the womb to affect the muscle wall. So some women can have that. They can kick in adenomyosis after childbirth. After having a cesarean section, it can do the same thing because it's scarring, isn't it?
Mm.
So it can also affect a woman after having a CS done.
Mm.
And of course, when you have open myomectomy or any surgery whatsoever for fibroids or anything really, once you've tampered with the insides of your womb, it can leave the scarring or affect the wall of the womb, and that would trigger adenomyosis. So those are the risk factors that have been given. And so for me, I feel a lot of women, even though you're in a lot of pain, or you just want, because when you're in that pain, all you want is for it to stop, especially if you're having heavy bleeding because you're so tired. It drains you. Um, the first thing shouldn't be, I want surgery. That's where I'm coming from with all this. It shouldn't be, I want surgery. You should find out what are the options. Yes, they have medications you can be given that can help you control the pain, or, manage the pain, but it won't stop you from going through those processes if you have it bad. So, rather than just go straight up to agreeing to having a surgery, you should get a second opinion first to know what exactly is the reason behind, because before you have a surgery, you need to know what's causing, you need to know the root of what is causing what you're going through. So even if it's, let me say, fibroids, what's causing you to have fibroids? I know they said they don't know what's causing it, but we also know the risk factors of what's causing it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so when you know the risk factors, or you find out the risk factors, this is why we're here to teach people or tell people and give them awareness to say, you know what, it might be what you're eating, you're feeding. A lot of times we feed these things with what we put into our
Yeah.
bodies. And when you feed them, they just grow. And if you can feed something to grow, you can as well stop feeding it to stop it from growing, rather
Yeah.
than go in there and get cut open or get yourself cut. That would give you something else that's worse than what you're trying to solve. So
Yeah.
I feel before you decide to have a surgery, I've had to go through all these processes to the point of having a hysterectomy. So I can tell you, your body will never be 100% the same. So rather than go through all of this, I think it's best for everyone to say, research, know yourself, know what's wrong with you, get a second opinion, speak to a nutritionist if you have to, speak to a dietitian if you have to, you know, find out all the things that you need to know about your body, because only you're the only one that knows your body. Even the doctor speaking to you doesn't know your body. The doctor doesn't understand what's going on.
Mm.
They're talking to you. A lot of doctors are speaking to, sorry to say, they haven't been through these things. They're giving you the answers from a textbook, from what they've been taught, not from going through the experience or having the experience.
Yeah.
So you're going through it. You need to know for yourself, this is what's happening to me. Why do you think this is happening to me?
Yeah.
And this is another reason why you should be in a community of people going through the same things or like-minded people, so that you can find out what they have been through, how they've resolved it, what can help be of help to you as a person, as a woman, that would help you rather than have a surgery.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just sorry,
That's
Alero.
okay.
Miss ET said, yes, I agree. Make your research before agreeing to surgery. And then she said, I had endometriosis stage 4, and I was told I can't conceive naturally except from IVF. I made my research and changed my diet, and I had my miracle baby at 39. Look
You
at
see?
that. Look at that.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes,
See?
research necessary after your diagnosis. Absolutely. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
that.
That is
Yes.
cool. And this is it. You like, just to, obviously, we're speaking like this because it's about empowering and learning. You're welcome. And the difference between myself and yourself, I had a myomectomy, but then I started changing things, whereas you had a myomectomy and then you just
I
continued
carried on.
as normal,
Yeah.
make
Mm.
no changes, and
Nothing.
continued. It was like business as usual kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying obviously it's conclusive, but the reoccurrence came, and what we're seeing is, if you had made changes, if you'd done more research and thought and addressed what contributed to the growth, what contributed for the prevalence, then who knows how that would have
I would have
impacted
found out.
the next,
Exactly.
the following years.
Mm.
So it's so critical, to really, like Alero, you're saying, do your research. When you've been diagnosed, see how you can help yourself. Look at. I've got a lady, actually. She said she might join, and
Okay.
we go to the same. And she was diagnosed with endometriosis, and she literally just said, right, like, my diet. She just thought, what am I going to do? And she just
Mm.
covered what she could control, which was obviously diet, nutrition, lifestyle, and she's healed herself. Like, she's completely managed it. She's not gone on any medication whatsoever. She might join us.
Fantastic.
So it's so,
Fantastic.
it's possible. Miss T is saying, I preach this to people to make research and broaden your knowledge. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's something that we really have to um, continue to repeat, and I think sometimes you can feel pressured. You're talking with a doctor, a consultant that appears to know everything, but like you said, Alero, they've not experienced it. They're just going by guidelines and textbooks, and they've not gone through it. Yes. Sorry, you can continue.
Yeah. Well, so it's the same thing. It's the same thing with endometriosis, really. It's the same process, because with endometriosis it's even worse. I call endometriosis the cancer that doesn't kill. It mentally is killing you, but because why I call it a cancer that doesn't kill, it's because it attaches itself to different parts of the organs. It doesn't just affect the womb area. It's been found. It's been found in the brain. It's been found in the wrist. It's been found in the chest.
Wow.
It's unbelievable how it can grow.
Mm.
It goes outside of the wall of the womb, and it can just grow and causes so much pain. There's some people that have endo and they can barely walk. They have to use wheelchairs because they can't walk for too long. It's horrible. It's a horrible disease, and it doesn't have a cure at the moment. The only thing they can do is excisions. That is going in for surgery, cutting out those bits they can cut out,
Mm.
and you still have them. It's not like 100%. I've had total hysterectomy now, taking out my cervix, my everything, but there's still leftover of endo in there. They couldn't take out everything, and so with the With the patch I'm on, the HRT patch I'm on, it's because now I don't have my ovaries. So the HRT patch is to balance my estrogen and progesterone, and that's supposed to help stop the endometriosis from growing any further than what they've left in there. Hopefully that will work. But also, I'm trying to learn, you know, to manage my diet even better now. I know there's nothing in there, but I still try to manage it because I have no plans to go back in there for them to have an excision. So when you have endometriosis, you keep hearing, that's why if you notice people with endo, you hear them saying, oh, I'm waiting for my surgery, or I've had to go private. That's because they have to have excisions done to cut them out. You cut it out, give it a year or two, it's back again. You have to go back in. Some people tell you, I've had 16 surgeries. I've had 18 surgeries. Yes. Yes. That's how it's continuous. It just continuous growth. It just grows. And if you don't cut it off, it's just going to cause more damage, more pain for the individual. So you hear them saying, I can't manage that. I just thought about it. How many times am I going to have that done? I said, no, I'm not going to, I can't keep going in for excisions. So the only excision I've had was the one that was done when I was having my hysterectomy done. And the excision was done with that. But the doctor said they couldn't take it. There's still a bit left, but hopefully it doesn't grow.
Right.
So if we can, rather than get to that point where you have to be going in every other year, why not find a way to stop it from happening in total? Yes, we can't stop it 100% because we don't know what's causing it, but at least we have an idea of what we can do to protect our bodies by eating well, feeding our body with the right things, avoid the things you shouldn't have. I know they're tempting. Well, I mean, there's some people that can't survive without having coffee. Do they realize what that causes to those things? You're feeding them,
Yeah.
and every other thing that, when you find out what things are, but especially when you eat, like I think you said in one of the lives we had, that when you stop eating those things, the day you try to eat it, your body will tell you, because it would feel strange, you feel weird.
Yeah.
So when I do that, when I cut out certain things and I try to eat them, I used to love chocolates. Everyone that knows me, chocolates, ice cream, cake, I can't, I want them. But now I see them and I walk past them, I'm like, wow, is this me?
Mm-hmm.
Because I realize whenever I have them, when I yearn for them and I try them, it doesn't taste as good as it used to. And I can feel I can tell you how it feels in my belly. It doesn't feel right. So I just like, you know what? I can live without it. I'm not going to die.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can make alternatives. You can bake in,
Yes.
flours that are ideal, that will have an anti-inflammatory effect.
Anti-inflammatory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like fortified sweeteners and things.
Mhm.
So can definitely be more
Yeah.
plan and have something
Yes.
more ideal.
More.
So
I'm learning every day. I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
yeah, sure. Just to address, so um, ZTS, and she said, sorry if I've missed this, but what were the dietary changes made? And I thought it would be great if maybe we could, if Miss T wants to come on the live,
I was going to say,
such an incredible testimony in regards to,
to her
how.
changes and having a baby. Yes.
So if
Miss
she
T,
wants
would you like to come online? You can send a request.
live, please send the request. That would be amazing if you want to. If you can send the request, I think it came up, and if you want to come on live just to share the dietary changes you made, that would be great. Otherwise,
Yeah. But for me, what I did cut off, what I cut off first, the major things I cut off was my dairy. I changed my dairy. I cut off whole milk and all of that. I cut off what else? I started eating lots of grains. I do eat grains, but I had to, you know, start eating a lot of grains. What else?
kids
Is
are
she
there
there
and very noisy.
now?
No, she said it's noisy where she is. She's got kids. That's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Right. Sorry, continue, Alero.
Yeah. And I cut off red meat and have more fish and white meat. So I love my steak. So maybe once in a while I can have it, but it's not something I would just cook and say I'm having, beef or having red meat. So a lot of things. When I notice and it's not working for me, I just cut it off, cut it out. I'm still learning new stuff at the moment. I eat a lot of red. What am I saying? Red. Yeah, I'm correct. Sweet potatoes, sorry. I have a lot of sweet potatoes. I have, anything that has to build my iron. So now when I'm eating, I'm checking, I'm checking what's in that food or what's in that, product before I think, okay, yes, I can eat it or not. Yes, like I said, it's tempting. You still want to eat some, but I don't do junk or, nah, I don't do them junks and stuff. I've cut off fizzy as well. So, you know, as a Nigerian, we like to have our Malta Guinness, and I used to like that a lot. But I notice now I just drink water, 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 which is good.
Yeah,
And water is good.
yeah, yeah. Amazing. Um, and I think what I coach is to go through an adjustment period with your cells.
Mm,
So do testing and really work with your cells, because everybody's obviously genetics is different,
different.
and why you've got the it's such a, you can have one woman that her fibroids are just growing so fast, and then you can have another woman where her fibroids are not growing so fast, or it's every, obviously conditions will impact women differently. So it's important to work out actually what
Good.
foods work well
Work.
for, and then design an elimination plan, and then you can start to monitor symptoms. So when you start to reintroduce, you're able to pick up, and it's much more concise because it's relative to your genetic makeup, um,
Mm,
and you're able to really see results quicker. I've seen with my clients, and in my case, when I done the test about 3 years ago.
mm,
So up until then, I was kind of like no dairy, no red meat, very general. And then when I got more concise, that's where I saw a big difference in my body, like even just my waist size, because I
yeah.
lost quite weight around my waist in the last
Mm,
2 years. And we know that toxins build up around your midsection.
yeah.
Um, Although I was eating healthy, I was still eating foods that my body struggled to break down, process, and so yeah, going doing tests to get much more concise is the most ideal way. And yeah, it's a game changer in all honesty. And if you did want a personalized approach, I do offer that. So just drop me a message and we can tailor a plan that's specific to your cells. um, Miss
Fantastic.
is saying I had more greens, veg. I changed to organic, really expensive, but
It's
obviously
expensive.
got your miracle baby. Stop red meat, kale and smoothies was a game changer. That's what she's also said. So that's great. Yeah, that's really, really good. And but mostly was organic foods. It really is. We often say you are what you eat, but I can go a step further and say you are what you absorb, because a
Mm,
lot of the time as well, you can spend quite a bit on supplements and even organic food, but if your body is blocked and there's a lot of congestion, what's happening is that the supplements are just going straight through you. You're not getting enough benefit because your body's not absorbing it.
mm,
So part of the elimination period will improve your body's bioavailability, and that's how it absorbs nutrients from your food and supplements. And again, it's a game changer. And just by going more organic, what you're doing is you're removing a lot of the blockers and the fillers, and you're eating less processed foods, which is obviously filled with additives and preservatives and all these unnatural chemicals
mm.
that the body actually know what to do with them,
To do with
and
them.
it just builds up in your system over the years. causing imbalances, causing complications, and then conditions start to develop. You know, if it's not this, that, and it gets worse if you don't address it. It gets worse.
It does. It does.
It's astonishing how complicated it can get.
Yeah.
And you can literally someone that's taking 10 medications easily because they're taking different medications to manage the side effects from different, the medications. It's
Exactly.
not that advanced. And the only group of people that are happy with that setup are the pharmaceutical
Of
companies.
course.
They're the only, the drug companies.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
They are happier when we're on more drugs and
More
on
medication.
Yeah. You've got substances that occur naturally in nature that can't be patented, and they're like miracle, substances, but they don't talk about it. They won't say, oh, go and take this, because they can't profit from it. So it's all like hush hush, but they want to sell medication. So it's like a whole nother life. But you do have to empower yourself and realize that there is a bigger context to the whole thing. Step back and say, right, I need to take ownership, and I need to help myself and not just rely on what's being spoon fed to us.
Yeah. So true.
So to kind of go back on your journey, would you say that at the point of your first myomectomy, because remember we were talking about if you're not in a relationship to want to have kids, that window of when you have the removal and then you healed, so like 6 months on average, if you're not trying to conceive, then what can happen is the complications can now develop in like that one window.
Yes, because the like we said earlier, the lining of the womb takes up preparing itself for pregnancy. So if after you have your surgery and you heal and you're not planning to get pregnant, then you've given the womb, or should I say the wall of the muscle and everything, you've given it the space to grow. That's where all of this can grow, the fibroids and everything. But when you're planning to have a child, you're married or with your partner, whatever, and you're planning to have a child, and then you have this surgery, then you know that, yes, once you heal, your next plan is to have a child. So when I was told I need to have a child, I should get pregnant, I was still in university. I wasn't even thinking about getting married, how much more having a child. So I just like, these people that did just, they're jokers. They're not, I didn't even take it. It didn't even make any sense. I didn't even take it like it was something important, which now I look back and I wish I'd listened. But at that point, I didn't have a choice than to have that surgery done. So, yeah. So for people who want to have surgery as well, and you're planning to have a child, yes, it's a good space for you. But like I said, before you have surgery, be sure you need to have that surgery.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the consensus is, in regards to guidance, what they want is for you to try and conceive for at least, I think, a year or two. If you're not conceiving,
they said it would come back.
But in that time, you want to be addressing your diet, your lifestyle, your nutrition, and being
definitely
intentional.
Definitely.
To get a level of traction that, like you said, you have to go and have a procedure. You shrink them, manage everything, and conceive naturally, and you may never need to have any procedure. So after your second removal, would you say like what would you do differently after that, after the second removal? Would there be anything you would have done differently?
I think most people would have started changing my diet immediately, and I probably would have decided to have a child. But yeah, I think I was more focused on trying to get better than anything else, because I was really, really bad. My friends would say They know how bad it was. So I didn't, I didn't think I wouldn't be able to have a child in the future, but I just felt, I need to be in a good place to be able to handle having a child, because you can't have a child if you can't take care of yourself. I'm struggling with my health and trying to manage myself. So having a child at that point wasn't my priority, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And and also it affects relationships as well. So you're not actually saying, oh, I'm in a relationship that's going to get me into marriage, or, so there's so many things involved that affects when you have it that bad.
Yeah.
Especially like my periods were for so long. I'm having periods for 3, 4, 5 months on a stretch.
Wow.
Um, and sometimes when it does come for maybe a few weeks, I say, oh, 3 weeks, I'm happy. Yes, it stopped. And then maybe 2, 3 weeks down the line, it's back again. So it's me carrying a bag, going about with sanitary pads and all of that, and extra stuff just in case I have to change, I get soiled. So I had that struggle of, trying to just act like I'm normal, even though I wasn't. I was going through a lot of it, but I was trying to act like everything was okay. So if I had the chance to go back, I definitely would sit with the doctors and say, okay, what can I do because I want to get pregnant? Also, they didn't talk about, oh, you need to preserve your eggs, or, freeze your eggs, or do it. Nothing was said to me about it. All they were saying from the scratch was have a surgery or have a hysterectomy. They were pushing hysterectomy down my throat like it was the only choice I had. Yeah,
Wow.
in the end, I still ended up doing it. But I mean, for years, that was always shoving down my throat. Have a hysterectomy. Why are you going through this? Why are you making yourself suffer? You know. But
Wow.
I knew that I knew there was a solution to it, but I just didn't know how to go about
Yeah.
it. But by the
Yeah.
time I knew it, it was a bit, I wouldn't say it was too late, but I was just too tired with everything. I just decided, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's only so much you can take, and this is it. If you just had those seeds of
Yeah.
knowledge, understanding,
Hmm.
you would have advocated for
For
yourself.
myself.
You would have forced to
Hmm.
have a conversation around other areas, other
Yeah,
approaches,
that's it.
freezing your eggs.
Yeah.
Why? So it's just having that
Yeah.
um
Yeah. I really
understanding.
wish I'd been told when I was in my 20s to do that, because I think that would also have, when you're given those options, it also makes you think and say to yourself, you know what, I think I should settle down early. You make decisions that are more important, because at that point for me, that wasn't my you know it wasn't on my list to get married that early. So, but if I'd been given those choices to say, you know what, because of what's happening to you,
Yeah.
maybe you should freeze your eggs, when you're ready, and this could happen, that could happen, rather than say, you know what, you need to start having children, or you know what, you need to have a surgery. They should, break it down, let people know. And even up as of now, they're still doing the same. A lot of people are not given that choice,
Yeah.
unless maybe you bring it up, you've heard from someone else, and then you're bringing it up, then they tell you, oh yes, you can do that. And I think, is it the age of 35? I think if you're over 35, you have to pay for it.
Oh, for freezing your eggs.
Yes,
Oh,
I think 35.
free.
So you have to pay for it, and it's not cheap. Yeah.
So is it free before the age of 35? I thought it. Oh,
I think so. But I know they said something about there's an age you get to, then they say something about you have to pay for it,
right.
or something. Because I know that was the first thing they said to me. You're over 35. That was back then, and I didn't even bother anymore, because by the time they told me my fallopian tubes and everything was damaged, I just didn't. It didn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. So there is a lot that needs to be thought about, that needs to be considered, isn't there?
Yeah,
Really and
yeah,
truly, at the point of surgery, and
mhm,
yeah, yeah. If you want children, obviously not every woman wants children,
yeah.
so yeah, it just
Not
depends.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I think the 35 age thing, I think it's actually for IVF, isn't it? I think I mixed that up. Is it for
uh,
IVF?
I think can get you can get the NHS IVF up until 40.
You
I think you can.
sure? Not 35. Okay. I'll have a look at it.
Wrong.
35
I,
or 40. Oh, Miss T is saying it's 40.
40.
Okay.
It was 40 because one of my
Okay.
clients, yeah, it was 40. It'd be a bit unfair to cut it off at 35, I think.
Mm.
I
Yeah. So
think,
maybe it's the egg freezing one. I know there's something for 35. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Thank you, Miss T.
Thank you, Miss T.
They could have given options.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they should
Yeah. And,
have.
you know, even just like the concept of shrinking fibroids, like
Fibroids.
uh, one doctor said, oh, no, it's not possible. But what's that based?
Really?
That's based on their own schemata, their own experience. And it's like, if they've
Mm-hmm.
not experienced it, it's not possible.
Yeah.
But then you could have another that has experience, a client
Yeah.
or, their fibroids shrinking through diet, and then they believe it. And then they'll say, you know what, go and try that. Because I've had a few clients that have been
Sorry.
encouraged by their doctor to go the holistic route because they're not
Yeah.
clear that the repetitive surgeries is not a solution,
Mm.
and because they work, they encourage them and say, yeah, go and see what you can achieve, because obviously it takes commitment, it's not easy, it's a whole another approach. But it's just interesting how you can have a doctor that will say, oh, it doesn't, you can't shrink
Doesn't
fibroids,
work.
and then you
Mm.
have a doctor that encourages it. So that's interesting as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
So sorry, go
Carry on. I was going to say if anyone had a question.
on. Sniffles. Let me see. Thank
Yeah.
you for the ladies that have joined. We've just had an amazing testimony from Miss T. I'm just,
Yeah.
lovely. And when she was
That is
diagnosed,
good news.
she was diagnosed with endometriosis at stage 4, and she was told she
Wow.
could conceive, she couldn't conceive naturally. It had to be IVF. And she done her research, changed her diet, and she had a miracle baby at 39. So that's it right there. It's just taking a decision, holding on to what you want, believing in what you want, and just going for it, and not
Yeah. That's amazing.
the
Mm.
diet as the standard, as the narrative, not accepting it. Yeah, that's just it right there.
Yeah. Because stage 4, that's why I had, it's horrible. Horrible. Yeah. She done well.
Yeah, that's so inspiring.
Recommended to freeze eggs before 35. Oh yes, thank you, Max. I think that's what was playing in my head.
Okay, so what?
That
Uh,
that's the
freeze egg.
best time to freeze. Yeah,
Okay, makes sense because the
yeah.
quality stuff.
Quality of the eggs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, I heard a horror story when it came to freezing eggs from one lady I spoke with. She had her
Mm.
eggs frozen. I think she was in her 20s, and
Mm.
then she had the myomectomy. Months after, the fibroids were growing back, so hers were really aggressive,
Wow.
and it got very complex. And obviously mentally that was really, she was struggling. So she now wanted to use her eggs that she'd frozen for the IVF, and she was told that all the eggs had died when they went to
To
use them.
check.
No, not joking. And that's the first time I've heard of that.
Stop it.
All of them were not viable, and that sent her mental state. She really lost like focus. And
You know,
can you imagine you're going
that
what
was that's what I was saying when a few of my friends were suggesting I should do it. I said to them, the worst thing that could happen to me is freezing the eggs and they're not viable. That would break me.
yeah, yeah, it really,
Already knowing what I'm going through, and I do that, I don't think I would want to add that kind of trauma to what I'm going through. So I just decided I'm not going to do it.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
going to do it. I'm also 40. I'm 46 now. So, yeah,
yeah,
I just said to myself, even when the fertility clinic was telling me, oh, because your tubes are damaged and this and that, I was like, you know what, just leave it.
mm,
Because I just couldn't imagine doing all of that, and then they tell me not even one is viable. I can't even begin to imagine how she's feeling with that happening.
Yeah, it's
That's horrible.
obviously there's a chance, isn't it? That's the
Mm.
thing.
That can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
So
that's why they tell you to do quite a number, isn't it? You do a session of
yeah,
it so that. But if everything is damaged, that's.
none of the Bible. Yeah. So I think when you go into that, some learn from that. When you go into that process, have it in your mind that it may not, you know,
Work.
yeah, it may not work. Because sometimes you can think, because she thought of it in a way that, right, it's gonna, we're just gonna do this. It never
Mm.
occurred to her, that the eggs could die
To die.
and they wouldn't. And I don't know how it happened, but it
I
happened.
mean, because she's in her 20s as well, I would think they're very healthy.
Okay, Mags is saying thank you so much to you both. My fibroids have returned after a myomectomy. I'm 34. I'm going to make changes to my diet and look into my egg freezing, but
Oh,
with a realistic view. Oh, that's so
that's so
good.
good. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
you're welcome. It's this is it. It's about getting the information at just at the right time to be able to just keep your options as wide as possible. And this is what it is about. Thank you for sharing that. And
Thank you.
I don't know how far you are with your diet adjustments, but there's a few free resources through my link on my bio if you want to check those out. But yeah, there's so much you can do, and it won't be easy, but if you can work on your mindset. I don't know where you are with that. When I say that, I mean when I was going on this adjustment journey, I went from being addicted to junk food and being my biggest, I was the UK 26. So I had to go from not walking past McDonald's. Like I couldn't walk past McDonald's without going in. So I went from that to where I am now, and I needed to work on my mindset. I needed strategy. I needed to. So that's why I say I don't know where you are with that, but it's a big part of consistency, because I speak to women a lot and they say, I try, but I just can't, consistency, I
Can't do
just can't.
it.
So you have to work on your mindset, and really align your subconscious with your goals, because the subconscious is much more powerful than our conscious, because we can consciously say, okay, today I'm going to eat like this, or I'm going to do this. But then if you don't work on your subconscious, when something comes to challenge you, or when something surprises you, before you know it, you're reverting back to the default. And the default behavior is what is going to thrive, is what's going to come out. So that's why you have to work on your mindset and work on the subconscious part of you. It's not something that will be discussed, it's not something that will be mentioned to you, but I'm just telling you because I've walked the walk, so to speak.
Mm.
So yeah. Okay, Max is saying that is me. I binge eat at my biggest weight. Stress always leads me to eating. Yeah, high sugar. Exactly. You're not the only one. You're not the only one, Max. It's something that I'm sure so many women can relate to, because even with your cycle, you before you come on your period, you naturally want more sugar, and you're kind of
Sugar.
wanting.
Yeah.
Even just that, having to navigate that's why supplements and strategic supplementation is key, and understanding how to increase your calories in a healthy way will offset that craving as
Mm.
well. um, as a woman, you cannot give up on yourself. You have to keep trying.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Definitely.
Yes, to you have to keep trying, and every day is an opportunity. Every minute is an opportunity. You don't need to
It
wait
is.
till
No.
the next day. You don't wait till next month or next year. 2020, I've spoken to quite a few women. They're like, oh, I'm going to start in January. That's actually the biggest way to fail when you do this delayed, because what you're actually doing is you're giving yourself an out. You're giving yourself an out. And the truth is, you're going to always do it. So the best way to operate is immediately. You take the decision immediately, and your next action. So you say to yourself, okay, what am I doing next that's going to take me closer to my goals? You don't delay it. You don't delay it. So that's a piece of advice there. If that, hi, if that, hello
Hey,
everyone. I'm so
well,
sorry. Don't worry. Thanks for joining.
thanks for joining.
You missed you. Well, I'll say it again because it deserves. Or do you want to say it?
Go ahead.
No, you say it because I keep saying it. To share with if that. Are you gonna say
Okay,
it?
Eva, what we're just talking, want to know what we talked about? We're talking, that is so true. Delaying just means you're going to do it. Yes, you aren't going to do it. That's so true. So if for today, what we're discussing was about surgeries, having surgeries, fibroids, you know, if the risk factors of having maybe fibroid surgeries, even when you have a baby, um, or through cesarean section, or just any surgeries, sometimes the risk factors that come with it could lead to adenomyosis, which I said is when the lining of the womb grows into the muscle wall of the womb of the uterus, and that causes heavy bleeding and pain and all of that. So, and with adenomyosis, there's no cure per se at the moment, and the only cure that is known at the moment is hysterectomy. And then we talked about endometriosis as well, which is what affects the outside of the womb. It's almost similar to adenomyosis, but only that it happens outside of the womb. And for me, I call it cancer that doesn't kill. So it could attach itself to any part, your bladder, your bowel, your fallopian tubes, your ovaries. It's been found in more places now than before. Before they just tell you it's your ovaries and fallopian tubes, but now it's been seen in different areas of the body, parts of the body. And the only way to get rid of it is to have an excision, which doesn't get rid of it. It's just to cut it out, and it grows back. So you hear people say, oh, I've had surgeries 4, 5, 6. Some people said 16. I've heard of 19 times. And I don't know how they managed to do that. I know it's keyhole surgery, but I mean, it's still pain. You're still cutting yourself. Your body's being cut. And you go back on that like literally almost every year or every other year. And we're saying the best thing is, first and foremost, find the root of what's causing it. So if you have fibroids, for instance, why do you have fibroids? What are the changes you need to make to stop it from growing? You need to change your diet if you have to, watch what you put into your body, keep fit, exercise is another thing that we need to do. Drink lots of water, and if you have to run a test just to know what your body is about, then you run a test.
Yeah.
So you have those, some people have allergies to things and they don't realize they do have allergies to some things, and they just, keep pumping themselves with it. What else did we say? Yeah, we talked about freezing your eggs as well. Like,
Yeah.
if you know you're not ready to have children and you're having these issues, probably freeze your eggs, just, to be safe.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't given that option when I had my surgeries back then. Yeah, so we just really need to be in the same community, to learn from other people, to know what has happened with them, what worked out, for them, that you can learn from, what you can use to solve whatever it is you're going through as well.
Absolutely. And Miss T has just said change diet completely. It helped a lot. And
So that's the number one key.
I'm seeing her testimony again. I thought that's what I thought you were going to say. But so she basically was diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis, and she was told she couldn't have conceived naturally. She had to do IVF.
IVF.
Then she went and done her research, worked on her diet, and she had her miracle baby at 39 and has managed the whole thing and stayed 4 endometriosis. So that right there just proves the
That it
power
works.
and the
Mhm.
diet and
Severe stage 4. I trust me, Miss T, I understand where you're coming from. You know, when we talk about the pain we go through when we have that, people can. I used to say, if someone could, hold my hand just to feel what I'm passing through, it would be great. Because people can't tell. Especially, I learned to manage myself in a way that I could talk normally, and I'm dying, I'm in tears, I'm crying, and I'm answering the phone, and I'm talking to people, but I would be on the floor. That pain is debilitating. It's horrible. So when
gosh,
you say you got pregnant, it's
that's
you went over and beyond to make that happen. You went over and beyond to make that happen. And I'm so proud and glad that you were able to do that.
yeah, that's very inspiring, very inspiring. Um, that's incredible. And if that's saying, yeah, she's not supposed to have tomatoes. So today she blended red peppers, and she's saying thank you to me, because you would think, okay, I'm just gonna stop dairy, red meat. You kind of, that's obviously the general approach, but
Yeah.
actually go into more depth. It could be a healthy item like tomatoes that you're not.
You're
It
not
doesn't work.
supposed.
You
Yeah, exactly.
have to do an alternative. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. If that and Miss T saying, I get admitted with pain right from puberty. I was in and out of hospital growing up. Wow,
It was me.
wow, that is a lot. So if you were to give one piece of advice to a woman that's been diagnosed with fibroids and then diagnosed with endometriosis,
Mm.
would there be one advice that you would give?
I would say go the holistic way, please. If you can, go the holistic way. That's the best thing. I think, well, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, so I would say I believe God has given us everything. He has
Yeah,
provided everything. So it's up to us to use what is there to care for our bodies, because our bodies, there's everything. You see, just the way you can say you have a bruise or something, and you can see the bruise,
yeah,
oh, if I scratch that, it's going to open up again, so I shouldn't touch it. That's the same way with the insides. We need to find a way to heal ourselves from the insides, and that is the best thing we can do to ourselves. I
yeah,
know they say, oh, my endo might still grow again, but I know that I am determined to make sure it doesn't. So I'm going to make sure everything I need to do, I do, unless, if it's out of my control, that's different. But if I know what I'm eating is going to make it grow again, no, I'm not going to do that to myself. So
yeah,
my best advice is go the holistic way. I'm not saying cut out the doctors. Find out, you need the doctors to tell you what you need to hear, to know, because you cannot treat something you don't know.
yeah,
So you need to know what it is that you have, need to know what the doctors are saying about it. Then you now go and do your research and find out what those things are that you can do for yourself to make yourself feel better and stop and to heal
yeah,
yourself in total.
yeah.
Thank
That's
you
it.
so much, Miss T.
You are a strong woman. Honestly, you're an amazing woman, and I've always said it. You're going to continue to impact many, many women, and you're going to help a lot of women have more choices and help themselves and just empower them, early on their journeys, because of everything that you do. So, thank you. And just to let you guys know, Alero does have a group on Facebook. What's the name of the group?
Um, Fem Power Hub.
Fem Power. So if you're interested, just reach out to her, and I'm sure she'll give you the details.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you, Nina.
oh, you're welcome.
The mindset
Saying
is
thank
very
you,
important.
testing, you're welcome. It's about empowerment, because you really need to educate yourself. And as I said, it does go back to, there once upon a time, there was a time that doctors used to get holidays from the medical companies. So if they dispensed enough medication,
Mm,
they would qualify for holidays. Can you believe that?
really? I never
Yeah,
heard that.
Yeah, there was a time. There was a time. So doctors were incentivized to dispense a lot of medication. So when you think about it, it's
With the
it's just,
scapegoat.
the way, yeah. And
Go.
the truth is somebody wants to keep us on medication. Someone somewhere wants on more medication, and it's all profit driven.
Yeah.
And the moment you step out and start to consume less and take more control, they're like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Why are you? But
Mm.
actually, like you said, God's made us perfectly. We're perfect. We're God's highest form of creation, and He knows how, our immune system. We're built to fight disease naturally.
Yeah.
Naturally, you see. So it's like, if we are built naturally to fight disease, then surely we can just look at, okay, what are we feeding our bodies in order to fight the disease. So it actually can be simplified in the most incredible way,
Mm.
but they don't want us to simplify things. They want
No.
they want you to be on this
To
medication,
rely
that
on that. Yeah.
you're kind of
Mm.
stuck.
Mm.
So yeah, holistic health is underrated. If that's said, it is
It
because.
is.
And hi Andy, are you okay? This mindset is very important too, she said, because people will test you with their comments and questions.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Where you can, we can all relate to that, where you've been, I was asked if I was pregnant when I wasn't, and it was the
Mm.
fibroid.
Yeah.
And I felt like the ground should just open up and just swallow me up. It was just, I was so embarrassed. I'll never forget where I was. And it's just comments like that can really impact, obviously, your focus and everything that you might be doing to help yourself. So yeah, you're right, Andia.
Mm.
Thanks for sharing that. um Ole Yinka said, well done, Alero.
Lainka. Thank you, Lainka.
Yeah, you're welcome. Information.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's a movie about Nina. Oh, yeah. Hi, Ola, you okay? There's a movie, that's so funny. What's the name of her Facebook group? Fem Power.
Fem Power Hub. I've just sent it out.
They don't want us to know too much. Exactly.
No.
Neola is asking, is bulgur wheat really a healthy option? It is. It's a healthier option. It will depend on, obviously, it depends on if you want a general approach or a more concise approach. If you want a more concise approach, then get to see whether it's a healthy option
Tested.
for you. Otherwise, in general, it is a healthier, complex carb, to replace rice, like white rice
Mm.
or white potatoes. It is a healthier option. Yes. There was something I wanted to ask. Okay, no, it's gone. But thank you so much, Alero. God bless you for being so open,
Amen. Thank you
and
too.
um,
Mm.
your journey, and what you would have done with what you know now, early on. But it's about, as I said, moving forward and helping another woman. So, but thank you for being so open. We really appreciate you joining us. Please tag any woman that would benefit from this information. Share this video with them, and really just let them know that they're not alone. And another thing we like to do, which is human nature, is just to pretend like there's no problem. Just stick
No
your head in the
problem.
cloud and but don't do that as well, because that's obviously not going to help, and you're limited options as time progresses, and things aren't being addressed. So take the information, and most importantly, take action. You have to take action. And as I said, with your mindset, it has to be a very immediate approach. You need to treat it with a sense of urgency, because the truth is, your life does depend on it. Your life does depend on it. So much depends on it. And it's not being emphasized because it's just like, oh, take this pill. Oh, we'll just cut this out. But actually, you're cutting it out. But if you're not addressing why it grew, then obviously it's just a matter of time before we're going to be back in the exact same. But then now the situation is going to be much more complex because there'll be adhesions, there'll be scar tissue, there'll be lots of other things that we've discussed today that could now compromise, you know, your uterus and your overall health. So yeah, treat it with a matter of urgency. Take the information and take action, and see what you can do in regards to your next step. You might not have any condition, and if that's you, we are so pleased for you, honestly. But still be proactive. You know, still look at your diet. See, you know, have conversations with women in your family if there's anything that is hereditary, if there's anything that's, and just be proactive, because that is the best you can do, you know, looking ahead and helping yourself ahead of anything.
Yes. Don't wait until you have a condition or challenge. Start eating right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. If I say, might be good to soak bulgur beforehand to break down the phytates if you get a chance. Makes it easier to digest. Oh yeah, that's in line with fermenting as well. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Ifat. Thank you both. This has been really informative. You're welcome. Thank you for joining.
Thank
We're
you.
really, you know, this is session 3. We're looking, we know that this will evolve. We're going to do live, you know, meetings as well in 2025.
2025.
And yeah, 2025, there's going to be so much. I'm actually writing my book, and my book will be out early next year as well, just to empower women and really just let them know that surgery is not the only way. And there's a lot that you can combine with your course of action. And as Alero said, nobody's saying doctors don't play a role. They play a very key role. You know, I'm not taking anything away from them. However, you can optimize your results. You can get more longevity. You can reduce your risk. You can, you know, get so much more out of the treatment when you support your body as well, and really make it a lifestyle. Have it in your mind that this is a lifestyle, and you have to go against the grain, unfortunately, because a lot of people, you know, live their lives in a certain way, and things may not affect them, but obviously you're different, and you just have to accept that it has to be a lifestyle and not a short-term approach. So anything you want to say before we end the live, Valero?
Well, really, it's for us to just take care of our bodies, take care of ourselves. Before you put that food in your mouth, ask yourself, is it going to be good for me? That's what's important now.
Yeah.
So that you don't end up in 2, 3, 4 years down the line saying to myself, I should have done this or I should have done that. Don't wait till it's too late.
Yeah.
We're going into a new year, 2025.
Wow. God willing.
Start
Wow.
now.
Already.
I know.
Oh, it's mad.
No.
But yeah, we're grateful. We're grateful. Thank you. Thanks, Andia, for joining. And just to say, everyone, Andia shrank her fibroids to pea size. Pea size. When we met, she had huge fibroids. She had horrible symptoms, and that was nearly a year ago now, I think. Maybe not up to a year. It's probably been about 10 months, maybe. So she got incredible. Her commitment to her healing, so inspiring, so inspiring. So
Well done, Andia. Well done.
well done for inspiring so many women as well. You're amazing. It's not easy, but you've proved that it's possible, and you can diet lifestyle. You realize how much junk we eat. Absolutely, yeah, exactly. And then you realize there's a whole industry out there that wants us to eat this crap. Like, literally, they're sitting down, having meetings and putting together formulas that will get us addicted to the food.
Yeah.
So it's a harsh reality, but it's true. Yeah, it is amazing. If that says Andia, that's amazing. because it is. You are so.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thanks for being you. I'm so glad that we crossed paths because it's really, really amazing. All right. So have a great evening, ladies. We'll see you next month
In
on our next session,
2025,
2025, third Sunday of January, God willing. And
God
we're going
willing.
to, yeah, inspire, empower, keep us all going in the right direction. And yeah, let's change some more lives.
Yeah. And please, if you have questions, please send them in before the day. We'll send a reminder, but would love for you to be able to send us questions. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
yeah. Merry Christmas. I can't
Merry
believe I said
Christmas, everyone.
this.
Happy Christmas, everyone.
All right. Take care,
Take
ladies.
care.
Bye.
Bye.